Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending from where you're watching from. Welcome to the Knockout 4 in the eSailing World Championship 2025. The first warning signal has just been given, so the first race is underway. This is Oscar, your host from Virtual Regatta, and with me tonight is going to be the Ghouler. The Ghouler, how are you doing?
Doing great, Oscar, and hello everyone. Welcome aboard and thanks for tuning in. As always, it's going to be a great and fun knockout. We have great players lined up to start the race one. And how are you, Oscar?
I'm doing fantastic. This is the fourth of the knockouts in the eSailing World Championship. We only have two more after this one, Knockout 5 and Knockout 6. So places are getting, well, kind of sought after in this eSailing World Championship. Just want to quickly shout out all of the people working behind the scenes that you won't hear during the stream, but are putting the work. Quick shout out to Giovanni, who's going to be our PRO this evening, who's going to be managing the races, giving the starts and giving the instructions to join the races. Also want to mention Black Dog, Hardolo, and Pimpy, who will be in the protest committee, watching if there are any protests or things that need to be addressed during the final. As the start signal has been given, it's a fleet of almost 40 boats in the J70. It's going to be the upwind long, so slightly longer course than what you're used to with the J70, but they're going to need the space with this larger fleet. And the Stipe coach is the one leading the race at the moment. Any names that pop up to you, Omer, on who do you think will be the top 10 who get a place tonight somewhere?
To be honest, there are a lot of good names here, but as always, Acer, I think he will be consistent. He will be in the leading group in each race, and he'll make sure that he's giving the best he can. And other than that, we have VIT Maradona, Trap Breast Power, Bart Lambrex, who is an Olympian and a world champion. We have really great names, so it's hard to say. But I think my favorite for tonight will be Acer from France.
That is a strong suggestion, strong name. We've seen him several times in the grand finals. Obviously, he's one of the stars, let's say, in the eSailing community. Just a quick recap on the format for tonight and the eSailing World Championship in general. It's going to be 8 races in total tonight. 5 of them are going to be in the larger fleet, so we're going to call that the qualifier series with the 40 boats. And then it's going to be the top 20 only heading into the gold fleet for the 3 races. And in the gold fleet, it's going to be at the end. Top 3 head over to the semifinal, and 6 to 10 head over to the playoffs. Obviously, if someone is already qualified in the playoffs, then their place goes to the next in line. Same goes for, and if they've already qualified for the semifinal as well, you will not see them tonight. Which means that all of the players you're watching here are going to be fighting for a spot in the semifinal. And several of them already have a spot in the playoffs. As we're getting close to the first upwind mark over here.
Yeah, and we have a lot of finalists in the eSailing World Championship here. You got Carlos Parejo, who was also a champion. We have Green9, Alex, another champion. Who do I see? Trap Oliver, Bart Lambrex.
And we're expecting big things from this Bart Lambrex, our 49er real life champion.
Yeah.
And we've seen him in the first or second knockout of this of the eSailing World Championship. And we'll see him again tonight. See if he makes it past the knockout stages. Returning name, I'm looking at the top 3 over here, where Acer, Maradoni, we know these players very well. They've been at the top of the game for a while now. Pichnet Trapp is a name that we recognize as well. Haven't seen him much in the Nations Cup, I believe, but he's still here. Probably was busy during that time, and well, now leading is going to be the first one to cross this mark heading into the first downwind of the race. It's going to be a gate at the end of this downwind. So they're going to have to choose between left or right. And he's going to have to defend his position from Carlos Parejo and Donny chasing him behind.
Yeah, they're chasing him, but there's a battle going between Carlos and Maradona as well, Maradoni. So maybe Trap can be in the easy and just he can
Well,
He can
as
make
you
his
said that,
way out from there.
we've seen Donny veer off. I thought he might be covering Navi 767, also a player that we've seen in several finals, but I don't think we've seen him yet in the eSailing World Championship knockouts. And it's going to be very close with these 4 players. Stipe coach Croatia also coming into the mix. And I see Black Panther in the chat. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Hello, BP.
As we
Let's see, he
half of them
managed
going
the
left.
yeah, he managed to round the mark in the first spot, but I don't think if he's in the best place when we look at the win sockets, the advantage might be for Maradoni here.
Why don't you try to
What we'll
explain maybe
see.
what we're seeing on the mini map?
Yeah, of course. Like where you see the wind sockets, it's actually telling you a lot about the wind shifts. And at the moment, there's a right-hand shift coming in, and if you're at the right-hand side of the race course, you'll be in a more advantageous in a more advantageous position to put yourself in front of the competitors actually. So at the moment, Maradoni is in a really good spot, but it can change with a left shift. So we'll see when they confront in a few minutes.
And while we still see a tight match between the top 5 over here, as Mendes is slightly behind. And we're starting to see a small gap between this group of players at the front. Kazuki, Vari, Acer, and Zemendes closing that little group, and the next group, which is the rest of the fleets, led by Searching, Alex Kowalski. Just another name that you'll recognize. Taxi and Moro di Napoli. And I see Jer7 eSailing in the chat. Hope you're doing well. As according to the ranking on the left, Fishnet maintains his lead.
Yeah. And at this level, you can adjust, put distance between the boats. They're just following closely, and as I said, Maradoni is coming from right-hand side. He'll have the starboard advantage. He's starboard as he's getting the wind from right-hand side. So let's see if he'll take early or just on his
Well, we
nearest.
see, yep, exactly. Donny taking the lead over here. He's going to cover Fishnet flat. That's going to slow him down with the wind shadow. That's the lighter area that you see near the boats, which is basically an area that is cut off from the wind because the sail is catching it. So by putting your opponents in the wind shadow, you're going to be able to slow them down.
Yeah.
But that means that he's going to have to defend from Fishnet, who's likely going to chase him again in the downwind. And Schlegel over here, strong fleet, excited to watch this. It's going to be more and more competitive as we move forward into the knockouts. I'm going to ask our viewers over here, if you had to pick 3 players out of those that you're seeing in the race tonight, who do you think will make it to the semifinal? As the first players are rounding the last upwind mark into this last downwind leg. And let's go check in the middle of the fleet quickly what's happening over here. Noza da Costa in 14th, the Spanish sailor. Chase but Japan 985 and Chico Pimelo.
Yeah, you can actually just understand how high the level is and how hard it is to sail in this fleet. Bart Lambrix who is a many times finalist in the eSailing World Championship, is in the last spot at the moment. So
Yep, let's quickly
it
switch
shows
back to the
really
fronts
well.
as Pishnet and Donny are here, are in a duel to fight for that first place. Pishnet managed to cover Donny a bit. And is going to try to get closer. Let's have a quick top view. Donny still has quite some, a bit of meters in front of Pishnet. That's going to be a very good race from these two players over here.
It's gonna
Carlos
be close.
is likely going to take third. Ooh, it's going to be close though with 767. But no, Carlos takes it. As Sarah crossing that 9 and 9th, I believe, or 8th. Let's switch to Shiko. And no worries, Jer 7 for the stream. We're happy to do that. And just like a hard to not predict for Sir Kazuki and Carlos, but there's also boring picks. And then Epi 987 is going to say Bort, Alex, and Nozet are my risky picks. Switch Nozet for Alex. Oh, you already said Alex. Velista 71 looks like he's struggled a bit in this race. Currently in 30th. Just crossed paths, sorry, with Bart. And Krug from Portugal is fighting for the 20th spot or 22nd spot with Pedro Mendieta. And yeah, MP97, Alex, not a risky pick. Actually, former world champion is correct. Bart was a former finalist in the grand final. Alex was as well, even world champion. So I'd say it's a pretty safe pick that you did. Anyway, final ranking is going to be this one. Donnie is going to take first place. Pishnet is going to take second. Carlos is going to take third. Navi 767 in fourth. Stipe Coach is going to take fifth. Very is going to take sixth. FSC Kazuki is going to take 7, Acer 8, Zemendes 9, Alex 10, 11 for Marty Napoli, 12 for Searching. And we'll keep going over these names as we enter the scores, and we head over to race number 2, which is going to be starting in just a few minutes. And again, so for this first part of tonight's final, it's going to be the top 20 that are going to be interesting for us, because these top 20 are going to head over to the Gold Series.
Can we call him underdog or?
Yeah, when I say underdog, it's just that it's not necessarily the names that you think of first.
Yeah, I know, but for me, because it's not a player that I've seen a lot at the finals, so right. I consider him as an underdog. That's why I told him, and he did a good job in the first race, 4th place. It's quite solid. And then Totexi from Japan as well. He's not in the top 5 Japanese players, I'd say, so he can come strong. And who else do we have? I don't see other underdogs here. Who are your favorites?
Yeah, well, it's all big names. 20 seconds to go.
I really like
we're with the Ilka. What can you say about the Ilka?
Ilka, it's not an easy boat to get a great start with, because if you turn into the wind, even for a second, it will slow down and directly stop. So you have to find a good space, speed up the boat, and just have a start with a good speed, and try not to stay in a wind shadow of another boat. So let's see who did a good job here in the fleet.
As we're currently following Breast Power in 30th.
Yeah, I would say at the right-hand side of the fleet, Very did a good job in the start. He's clean. He'll continue until the ley line, I would say, to get the right-hand shift and cross over the fleet of Ilkas and starboard. fleet looks really good and colorful. I always like 40-player races and fleets.
It does have its charm.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because it's in real sailing, especially in Elka. If you're before getting to the gold fleet, you have a lot of boats in the fleet, and it's always a view like this. So it's good to see it virtually as well on Virtual Regatta Inshore.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, well, it's going to be Julie Fra leading the fleet. Julie Fra, one of the top French players. Again, a name that you're going to recognize. I don't know why, but I associate Julie Fra with the F50 a lot.
Yeah, he likes that class. Bart's also in a good spot in this race. I'm sure he didn't get what he wanted in the first one, so he'll try to come back with the second race.
Yeah, and he's kind of alone on his ley line here, and he's gonna come in on starboard, or win on starboard. So he's gonna have right away above everyone else who's gonna be coming in from the left.
Yeah, that is the idea, but if you look at the minimap for the moment, we have a big left shift coming in and a lot of dark spots there, so the wind is stronger. So a lot of players will be expecting a right-hand shift and going there, but let's see if it will come.
Yeah, well, he's currently still on the ley line, so hopefully he can keep this course. Stipe Coach is the one who took the lead on the left over there.
Right, just as you said, normally that's what you expect. You tack exactly on the ley line just to say gain some meters, but then the shift doesn't come as you expected, and then you might stay inside the ley line and you have to do double tacks again.
Yeah, and we've seen Bart just steering downwind just a bit to force Stipe Coach to pass behind him and giving him this this first place. So Bart is going to be leading into this first downwind. And you're absolutely right with the ley lines. Ley lines are, if we explain it a bit, it's the most direct path to the mark, taking the wind at the mark in the game. Obviously, that wind can shift, so if you take the ley line a bit too early, there it's likely going to move by the time you get to the mark.
Yeah.
As we see maybe an unfamiliar name in the top three, Gucci Jr. or JR.
Yeah, for me he's familiar. I played against Gucci before.
Nice.
He's been in the game for a few years, yeah. So it's good to see him again at the top spot.
And I don't think he can cover Stipe over there. Stipe is going at 9 knots. Gucci's going to be at 8.8 currently. He's going to accelerate a bit, maybe. And that's also going to depend on Krug right behind him, who's likely going to put a bit of wind shadow on him. Is that, no, that's very right behind them as well.
Yes, but it will not be enough.
As Stipe Coach is chasing on Bart, who just rounded the mark. Stipe Coach is going to decide to go towards the left first, and Bart continued on his port tack.
Yes, but I think Stipe Coach will tack again because the as you can see in the minimap, again, look at the wind circuits. They're just turning to the left, which means there's a big right-hand shift that will come in around 200 meters. Maybe sooner.
Yeah, currently the wind, so we're watching Acer and Carlos over here. They have a bit more than 12 knots of wind. And as I said, that he dropped down to 11, and I'll pick him back up to more than 14.
Yeah. Good job from Navi, again in the top 10. Also, Stipe coach, he did a fifth. He finished fifth in the first race, so second now. If he stays consistent like this, he'll absolutely be in the gold fleet.
Yeah, and we see Pedrini is going to be the one most on the left of the fleet, currently sitting in 11th position.
Yeah. You have countries with a lot of great players, but there are some countries that are represented with one player who's been consistent over the years and who's been really at best. And Green Nine is one of those players for Greece. He's always been at the top, and he's representing his country in the biggest events on the virtual seas.
Yep, we've seen him in several grand finals. I think
Yeah,
we've seen him
exactly.
in Singapore for the Olympic Esports Series, and we've seen him in, I think it was Alicante.
Yes, correct.
As he crosses paths here with Judy Fra taking the 10. What is the 10? Basically, it means that the boat with the wind on starboard has right of way above the boat who has the wind on port. So Green 9 had right of way on Judy Fra, so Judy Fra should have either tacked away or pass underneath Green 9 to avoid that penalty. As we see at the top of your screen over here, Bart Lambriex still in first position. Managed to put a bit of a distance on Stipe coach, who lost second place to Bari. And Stipe coach sailing with the Italian Federation skin.
Yeah, I just realized that it's a good skin. Maybe that's why he chose it.
And I don't think he's going to be able to catch him in the wind shadow. It's like Bart is clear from any, but Veri might have some issues with Stipe coach behind him.
Yes,
Suzuki
exactly.
in the fourth. Depending on how it goes with Veri and Stipe coach, he might be able to catch up. But looks like he is out of Guti Jr.'s wind shadow, who is going to be slowed down by Krug by quite a bit.
Yeah. It looks like Stipe coach is not pushing Veri for the moment, because if he can push it at the moment, I think he's in wind shadow. Yeah. But on the other side, Stipe coach is in the dark spot, which means he's going faster, but with 0.1 knot for the moment, not much faster, so I don't think it will be enough to catch on him.
It looks like this is going to be our top four. Bart is going to take first. Barry is going to take second. Third is going to be Stipe coach, and fourth is going to be Kazuki. And they've put a bit of a distance on the fifth, being Acer currently, if he's not being slowed down too much by the boats behind him. We are having like 6 or 7 boats over here arriving more or less on the same line. But 4 or 5 of them decided to stay on the left over here. So Acer is going to confirm his 5th place. As it's going to be a tight finish between Nozets, Guti, Japan 985, Green 9 and 13. Let's go back down the rankings, see what's happening behind. Fishnet and Yoko fighting for 30th. I see the big group of player over there arriving on the pin end of the finish line. And looks like Pablo Baez is going to be the one closing the march. Final ranking is what you see over here, so well done from Bart taking the first place and Barry second place, and Stipe for third. And that's that ranking. I'm quickly going to explain why Very and Stipe Coach have 8 points each, but Very is in front of Stipe Coach. If you have a tie in total points between two players in a series, you're gonna list the score that they've obtained for each race and compare them head to head. And at the first point difference, you're gonna give it to the one with the lowest amount of points. So in this case, Very's lowest amount of point is second, Stipe Coach is third, so second is better than third, so the advantage goes to Very. As race number 3 has, well, the start signal for race number 3 has been given. In the 49er, how will this shuffle the ranking? Just want to also point out we'll give two examples of Donnie and Bart Lambrex currently who were in 10th and 11th place. Both didn't do a great race in one of the two races. Bart arriving 30th in the first one and Donnie arriving 29th in the second one, but both finished first in their respective races and are currently comfortably sitting in 10th and 11th. So we're likely going to see a lot of jumps like this because the fleet is big. So arriving in a not so good spot is going to add a lot of points. As we have 14 seconds or 10 seconds now to go before they can cross the finish line. In the 49er, it's going to be a fast boat. The upwind is going to be the most important. As we see an interesting wind pattern over here.
Yeah. So this is one of the patterns, as you said, it's not quite easy to read because you have a left shift coming in the middle there's a right shift, but now it's starting to turn you, so you have to stay alert and observe really well the minimap to not miss any advantageous spot on the race course. So when patterns aren't clean like this, we see a lot of text because the players, they try to keep up, but the wind changes to avoid losing their places. And now a bigger part of the fleet are chasing Mui Mui to get that left-hand shot.
Yeah, just entering a light zone over here, Mui Mui. We do see a bit of a stronger shift in the middle, on the right and on the left, but empty zones in the middle. Well, between these three stripes, let's say, and this huge wind shift that we just seen.
I think Mui Mui might lose his place because there will be a big right-hand shift that will come in.
Yeah, that might help Green 9.
Yes, exactly. I would prefer to be in his spot in this position, if you're asking me. But it will be close, let's see.
Let's see on the right over there, we do have some deciding to go on the right. One of them is Shiko. Shiko, who we've seen in 2024 for the grand final in Stockholm. With Farley's victory.
For me, he's the best Portuguese eSailer. Chico.
Yeah, and probably one of the... Well, you also have
best
like players like...
You have the Mendes, right? Yeah, he always has been at the top, but Chico
and
for me is...
all three over here.
Yes, you're right.
He's also a player that we've seen often, but Chico is the only Portuguese that I know of that has reached a grand final. And well, to counter our discussion earlier, Mumi's going to keep his first place and round that top mark first, followed by Green 9.
So yeah, with 49er, it's different than Laser. The wind shadow is bigger, so it will be, you have more chance to catch up if you're behind more than 20-25 meters. But
I'm currently
Green 9 isn't chasing him at the moment. He just wanted to be clear from the rest of the fleet, and he wanted to have a clean race because he knows at the ley line Wee will jibe again, and he'll be able to jibe on him.
yeah, and I don't know how worthy it is to fight in such a big fleet. It can be too risky.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because they can catch up anytime. And there's another Japanese player coming in the third spot, right behind Green 9. So as you can see, we have different patterns of winds and gusts as well. When you look at the minimap, you have quite different shapes with the darker spots, and that's making a bit more trickier to catch the darker spots and get your speed up, which is what's Mui doing at the moment.
And well, it looks like Mimi is putting on some more distance. I feel like I repeat that sentence a lot, but that's a 90-meter lead that he puts on Green 9 in the upwind with the 40. No, that's a downwind.
Yeah,
With the 49er.
I know. Yeah, I know you like jinxing players, but for the moment it looks like a comfortable race for Mui.
Yep, it's gonna depend on the shifts on the upwind again. The 49er excels in upwind.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll take any risks at this point, and he'll just stay close to Green 9, and he'll just attack on him and control him on the second upwind.
And yeah, looks like he is still going to take the lead. We do have some boats over there. Marty Napoli deciding to try their luck on the right side of the course. They are losing some winds. They went to more than 20 to now less than 16 knots of wind.
Yeah. In these kind of lighter boats, it is quite impactful following the gusts and the spots with more wind. For example, let's take example the star boat, and even if you're in the darker spot or on a light spot, it doesn't change that much in your speed as it does with this boat. So this is one of the tricky points of racing with the 49er class.
Are there any interesting battles that we're going to see? Looks like pretty smooth sailing for most of the players over here. Don't see any penalties.
Yeah, there was a good battle between Krug and 767, but now I think they're separated.
Well, they're like a one place difference between the two.
Yeah. But again, quite consistent racing from Navi. Congratulations, being in a top 8. Really, it might look easy, maybe while watching, but I've done this before, and it's really not easy staying in top in a fleet like this with the top players from around the globe. So kudos to him.
Yeah, 767 currently in 6th place overall, arrived 4th in the first race, 14 in the Elka race. Currently in 5th in the 49er. Mwimwi is still first with 90 meter lead on Green 9. Himself being chased by Kazuki or Kazuking. Let's have a bit of on pigeon action over here. Next to Pedro Mendieta, Tatexi, and Stefan Gelza.
I like your accent when you're pronouncing different names from different nations. It's really good. Nice job.
Thank you, thank you.
It's always interesting how gamers are deciding on their gamer tags. Do you know any stories from here?
I don't know any of the stories behind the names of some. Well, I guess, some of them are pretty easy to guess, like Green 9.
Yeah, that's not a challenging one.
And others
Yeah,
like Pablo Baez or Carlos Parejo or Chico Pimelo or Bart Lambrix, they're using their real name as well.
yeah. I think at the World eSailing World Championship, I asked Acer, and he explained it to me, but I completely forgot. So,
Oh wow, nice job.
if any of the any of you know the stories in the comments, please write them or share yours with us. And I think we have a winner.
And Imwi has crossed the finish line. Green 9 is soon to follow. Suzuki in third. Mardani is going to be in fourth. And then we have the rest of the fleet coming in. The Mendes is going to take seventh, and it's going to be very tight between Navi, Pablo. I think that was Acer, Bart, Tim Janik, KUYC with this flashy pink boat.
What color was your skin on the game?
Depends
Right.
on.
Yeah,
on it,
sorry,
because
maybe if it's information that you cannot reveal.
But everyone has crossed the finish line. This is the confirmation of your score. Congratulations to Mimi, who has led the race from start to finish.
Yeah, it was a clean racing.
Managed to read the shifts well enough to take the advantage in that first upwind, and then just kept it throughout the rest of the race. And Green 9, the same thing, actually arrived second very quickly and kept that second place throughout. So
Yeah.
with the Nakra and the F50 fast boats,
Exactly.
harder to control.
Yeah.
As the
So
start
you know
procedure has
any
been given.
players who are good with this class, who has some skills?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Do you know of any players who are strong in this class that they might need to be careful, the other players?
In the Nakra 17, I'm not sure I have one standing out. Because being consistent with the Nakra 17 is hard. And I think it's one of the hardest to be consistent with.
Yeah.
I could tell you maybe with the F50, but for the Nakra 17, it's hard for me to pick a name. But let's ask the viewers, those of you watching us, what's a player that you think is consistently good in the Nakra 17 especially? As we have 5 seconds almost before they can cross that start line. Watch out for the false start, watch out for the penalty starts.
Already a lot of penalties. And a nice job by Foiled 1. Directly tacking and going to the right hand side late line.
The Swedish boat over here. We already have one Swedish qualified in the semi-final, that being Romel. And Stefan Gerzon is the one leading on the left side of the course over here, crossing paths with Chico. With Bardi Napoli just avoiding that boat, that blue boat, which is Green 9.
So foiled one crossing over the fleet with a small marge.
And we've seen his stroll, and we just see him doing that on your screen right now. He's gonna try to go slightly upwind from time to time.
Yeah. Do you think it's working, Oscar? Because I'm doing it as well, because everyone's been doing it.
You think it's a placebo effect?
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually
might
works
be
or
it.
not. Depends how you do it, because you do lose speed by going a bit of upwind. But if you manage to gather enough speed, let's say that you manage to foil a bit and you
Yeah.
try to do that thing to gain some meters, that might be worth it. But you know, we've seen foiled over here doing that consistently. It'd be a bit too much on this last one, but he climbed up to second.
Yeah.
So looks like
Well,
it could work.
when we look from over with the bird eye view, you see a lot of dancing and moving Nagra 17s, and it looks like they're climbing up a bit towards the first mark. So I guess it's working. Let's see. It's gonna be close this round marking between
Who's
foiled
first? Yeah,
and
it's gonna
green
be
nine.
Green 9, yeah. But looks like he's gonna take it from Green 9, who's gonna have to tack just behind him, followed by Navi 767 as Chico Pimelo takes a penalty as he was rounding the mark. Gonna try to defend his position, but Stéphane Galzin and Mimi are gonna take advantage of that to get in front of him.
It's some fast sailing. Foiled one has almost 24 knots of speed, and if you've sailed in real life, you should know probably it's a really good speed.
Yeah, currently, well, we're watching
It's a
Chico
lot of fun.
currently going at 23.7 knots at 22.5 knots of wind. Let's see what's happening behind him. He's going to be neck and neck with Stipe Coach.
Yeah, I think this is the first race we're seeing Green 9 at the top of the fleet. He did, until now, he did 28 and 12. And I think he did not compete in the third race.
Let's switch back to foiled. As Mimi here takes a penalty, he's going to be slowed down. I want to try to concentrate maybe on the back of the fleet, because I think on the front it's more or less settled. We have a Tarp 3. And well, let's follow maybe a bit of Alex Kowalski. I've seen his name over here next to Mimi taking another penalty over here. Alex taking the lead on him. We have this nice line heading into that last race.
Yeah, Stefan's getting got from that crowd to be the one who controls them instead of being jibed on. But at this moment, at the same time, Green 9 is going into the VIN and he's getting much more speed. So it's gonna be a close one.
Let's watch that finish over here between Krug, Navi, Stefan Galzan. Looks like Krug is going to take the lead.
Yeah.
Japan 95 is the only one on the left over here. Soon going to be followed by Guti Jr. and Pedro Mi, and Denta is going to be on the right over here, 29th maybe for him. Pablo Baez in 32nd, Von Pigeon in 33rd. And Oliver 34th is going to be the one closing the march. He manages to cross that finish line. And start procedure has been given for this last race in the eSailing World Championship Knockout 4 Qualifiers Series. So again, this is just before the Goal Series. The top 20 after this race are going to head over to the Goal Fleet. So it's not over till it's over for everyone close to the 20th spot. You can still make it to the Goal Fleet and still make it to the top 10 or top 3 for the semifinal. As we got 10 seconds to go.
Yes, let's see. Hey, and a beautiful line again after the start. At the left-hand side, we have Pedro Mendieta, followed by Pablo Baez and Searching, and they will probably keep sailing until the ley line, as there are a lot of starboards. The rest of the fleet are coming, and they will be cornering them. And now Searching's waiting for the there will be a small left-hand shift, but after that it's gonna turn into the right again, so they'll have to do some zigzagging by few tacks. But let's see if it's a bit too late for Searching or he'll make it to the other end of the ley line. Let's see, where is our actual leader? 767 from Ukraine. Navi 767. Unfortunately, maybe we commentator jinxed it, because he's actually in the 31st spot. And if he keeps going like that, this will be probably his worst result, but it's too soon to talk. He might climb up again. So the fleet is really close. We're gonna see a lot of penalties, and it's gonna be a bit difficult for the port to attack boats while coming in to this more grounding. Well, is in the first spot. He's not in any wind shadow at the moment, so he'll have a comfortable lead while going into this second upwind. But right behind him, there's a battle going on between Guti, Acer, Chikopi Mello, and Team Yannick. Let's say a bit focused on Very, one of the top Polish players. So he's now in top 10 actually. He's exactly in the 10th place. He did a good start with a 6th with the J70, 2nd place in laser. But then things got a bit unlucky for him. With 49er, he got 18th place, and then with Nagra 17, 26th. So yeah, needs this comeback more than anyone, but he's still in a good spot. He just needs to stay in top 20. Has foiled 1 from Sweden, launched his Spinnaker. And there's a nice dark spot in the middle of the downwind course. And he'll be following it, jibing back to back to the finish line. Let's see, he's an Acer's Wind Shadow. Well, I don't think it will be enough to catch him before finish.
Hey, sorry, I've been away for a bit. That was just to make to do some checks in the background, but I am back. What has happened in this race, Omer? Give me a quick recap.
Yes, so foiled done a great job, having a comfortable lead. He just finished in the first spot. Acer's in the top 3. He's doing a good job. And then we got Chico Bello, the Portuguese players are there all in top 10, so they did a good job coming in. Things are not going quite well for the Ukrainian player. He did his first, I think, out of top 20 results, or he'll do, because he's not in the top 20 at the moment. So let's see. I think we're gonna have a bit mix up with the rankings this time.
Yep, it's going to take a bit longer just for our viewers over here before we head over to the Gold Series, because we want to double check the rankings, and we'll make sure that the 20 who are supposed to continue on racing tonight will continue racing tonight. But as you said, this is going to be the ranking that you see on the screen of Foiled, Acer, and Guti Jr. take the top 3 spot. Omer is going to be updating the results in the background, and we'll see how this changes the overall standings and who heads over to the Gold Series. But let's transition to the start of the race. 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, as you can see, most of the boats are trying to get their space, get their places by the committee boat, which has the advantage. Some players go there early and try to find a good spot and then try to protect it, and others come in the very last minute, like Stefan Gazin is trying to do at the moment, and find a good space. But it's quite risky.
And Guti takes the lead. Very close with Kazuki.
They're all really close. I think we'll see. We'll have a clearer vision after the downwind while going into the second upwind.
Guti's in a pretty good space over here, slightly above the ley line. If the wind shifts again, he might still be in reach to round that mark. Stefan Gazin is Also in a good spot currently. Hopefully the shift is not gonna play a trick on him. And Kazuki slightly above Gucci. On the left over there, who is that? That's Nozetz. He's a bit alone on this side. Looks like Gucci is still in the lead. Did have a wind shift, so he's now under the ley line. Kazuki's still above. Do you think he'll be able to still reach that mark? I think he still has to attack at some point. And watch out for that penalty. Gucci takes pen 18. Kazuki takes the lead, and he's going to lose a couple of places. Possibly 4 places. Dropping down to 5th. As Kazuki is the one leading, but he's going to be slowed down by Zemendes right behind him.
I'm sorry, I've been talking for the last 5 minutes and apparently I was muted. I'm sorry about it.
All good.
I was just saying let's talk about the star class downwind. So even if you try to escape this huge wind shadow, it's not possible. You'll be in it. But when you're in it, what's the best thing to do instead of panicking?
For the wind shadow, when you're trapped in the wind shadow, it's just going to be, well, as you said, not panicking. It's going to be try to defend your position. So players are going to likely catch you up. We see that example with Kazuki over here. He's going to be slowed down by 4 boats or 5 boats. Then these boats themselves are likely being slowed down by the boats behind them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Most players are panicking and they're just doing some big maneuvers and trying to get out from the wind shadow. But it's not possible, so just like you said, just keep your calm and try to protect your spot before rounding the mark. And one of the strategies I was using while going downwind with the starboard, normally most of the boats are going to where the wind is quite strong, which means the dark spots you see on the minimap. And that's why I would choose going into the light wind spots on the downwind, which would be less crowded and eventually which would have less wind shadows to be affected by. So this was one of the strategies I'm using when I do a star sailing.
But yeah, and we see Bart in the top 3 as well.
Yeah, it is good to see him back. I think his schedule was quite hectic with some real sailing, real 49er sailing. So he was not able to play the game as he used to. But now it's really good to see him again on the top of the leaderboard. It looks like we have a group of 4 players who are going to battle for the first place, which are Kazuki, Bart Linebreaks, Ozil, Stipe Coach. And I know it's not match racing, but we have 2 Japanese players. I would say they will probably try avoiding blocking each other. So let's see. Now with a bit of different separation, top 2 and 3 and 4th place. So what you're seeing is Bart is going to the into the gust now. There's a big gust on the ley line at the left. He's getting his speed up, avoiding the big wind shadows, and also protecting his position to have this starboard advantage in case of a contact. Only 6 meters between first 2 players, Bart and Kazuki. I think it's in the hands of Stipe Coach. If he decides to cover Bart, it's gonna be for Kazuki, and if he decides to cover Kazuki, it's gonna be Bart.
We'll see between these two who gets there first.
Looks like it's gonna be Bart for the moment because he's in a bit of wind shadow, Kazuki.
He's also still slightly in front, and Bart is out of any wind shadow. Kazuki might head into Stipe Coaches. And let's get close to the mark over here. Bart is going to cross the finish line first. Kazuki is going to take second place. Then between Ozil and Stipe Coach is going to be tight, but it looks like Ozil is taking the lead. Stipe Coach is going to take 4th, 5th for Zemenda, 6th for Stéphane Galzan, 7th for Guti, 10th for Acer, 8th for Tomjanic, 9th for Nozets. And the rest of the fleet is coming in here. 12 for Maradani. And Krug is going to be the last one crossing the finish line. There we have it.
Between the first and second mark. So it's also being quite tricky while you're doing your maneuvers not to get any penalties. And you have a really big march to climb up with this boat to go against the wind with really narrow angles, which is also interesting. So even if you're not above the ley line and you're under it, with a few meters you can just force your way up to mark the round. So it's quite a technical boat, you should know it, and when you know it, you have really interesting choices that you can make. So let's see who will manage this beast better than the others. Yeah, they're already lined up pretty well. Krug's left behind, he's trying to find a spot.
And
Really
we
good.
still have a nice line of boats over here, so it's going to be hard to directly say who is the leader. Ranking on the list suggests that it's going to be between Nazet and Adani. But we do have some boats over here on the right deciding to sail on port.
Yeah.
So we have
Rio de Janeiro is looking lovely with a fleet of offshore races. So a great start by Japanese. You're quite close. And a nice right-hand shift coming in to carry them to the first mark and take the lead.
And looks like Suzuki is gonna force Zemendes to tack or sail behind him. Zemendes deciding to tack.
Yeah, I skipped to mention another tricky thing with this boat. This launching spinnaker is much longer than the other boats, whereas it's 2 to 3 seconds for the other boats. It is 5 seconds with the offshore racer. That's why while you're battling with other boats during the offset, you have to just keep this in mind and launch your spinnaker as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll be just sailing the downwind without your balloon-like sail, which is a spinnaker, and you'll lose a lot of speed.
Yep, and Kazuki is going to be the first one to round that mark and head into the downwind, but Zemendes was the first one, and right beneath him, or next to him, is Kazuki. Neck and neck, really neck and neck with them. And well, on the right over here, we see Navi deciding to go on the right side of the course, get some clean air.
Yeah.
And Alberto
He's
in the
trying
chat,
to get...
hi, Classicity, hi to you too.
Hello everyone, nice to see you here. Hope you're all well. Okay, let's see, I'm checking the leaderboard again. Zemendes is in the 5th place, so if he gets a victory, he'll get much closer to being the qualified eSailors. And Kazuki is following behind, also in the 3rd spot.
I'm gonna say, just want to mention, kind of repeating the same kind of joke, but we have Alberto coming in the chat and asking where Acer is. And Acer was doing just fine, currently leading the overall fleet at 45 points, tied with Stipe Coach. And when you mentioned here Alberto, well, he is in 17th. So even when you're not commentating, you're jinxing.
Not commentating, but commenting jinxing, maybe.
But Harder, nice to see you in the chat as well. Hope you're doing well. Classic Cody, don't know if you heard, but as well, hi, you too. And well, Zemendes still in the lead after this nice move at the ley line we've seen in the upwind with Kazuki. He under-tacked. I'm just gonna see, that's what the Black Dog has noticed. Zemendes under-tacked and saw that he would still be able to reach that mark, so that was a smart move by him and guaranteed that first place up until now.
Let's see, he's chasing really close. Zemendes, and he will probably not let him breathe on this downwind.
Well, we have... Let's see, we do see Stipe Coach going faster than Zemendes by a knot. Kazuki also going faster than him by a knot, so Zemendes is being slowed down and slowly losing his first place. But with the tack over here, he is going to be the one covering Kazuki.
Exactly, what Zemendes doing there actually, he's preferring a good spot. He's preferring to avoid the wind shadows, and
Exactly.
that's why he's going slower, but he has the control,
And even
having
now
the
he's going.
starboard tack.
He was even going faster now, so he lost a position, but that allowed him to stay above Kazuki and still control. And as you said, just wind shadow him and then slow him down when it matters the most, which is
Exactly.
when they're approaching that finish line. Looks like Zemendes is still gonna have the lead and still Kazuki on his right. So even if Kazuki
Yeah,
does manage to get some meters, he's gonna be slowed down by his wind shadow. So that was very well played by
exactly.
Zemendes over here.
Yeah. And he's in. Well done.
So Kazuki second, Stipe Coach third, Carlos is going to take fourth, Japan 985 is going to take fifth, and we see some people going very wide over there. That's the case for Navi 767 and Bart, as a Temyanek here is going to take sixth place. Navi is likely going to take 7 over here. And then we have a bunch of them coming more or less at the same time. And we will have a look at the final ranking, which is what you're seeing on your screen right now. Pico and Ozul, and results have been updated.
Oscar,
So
drum rolls, please.
Drum rolls.
Drum rolls.
Let's go with that. Don't have the sound for
that. So we have a new leader.
We have a new leader. Well, let's have a look at that. It's not really a drum roll, but it's the best I could find.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Hi, Coach.
Nice one.
Takes first place from Acer with 48 points. Kazuki is going to take second place with 49 points, and Acer drops down to third with 60 points. There's still an 8-point difference between third and fourth. So between Acer and Zemendes, 68 points for Zemendes and 767 for fourth and fifth. 83 points in sixth for Donnie, 84 points for Nozet and 7-8 for Temyanek with 86 points, Bart with 87 points at 9, Carlos Pacheco with 9, Carlos Parejo with 90 points at 10th. Currently, these are the ones who will be qualifying for the playoffs. Top 3 will go to the semifinals, the rest will go to the playoffs. Yep, and we're going to transition to that race. Well, basically for the top 3, so Stipe Coach is guaranteed to be in, right? 48 points. Fourth position currently is at 68. That's 20 points difference. So unless he DSQs or something, he's going to be in. And even if he DSQs, there's small chances that he doesn't qualify. Same goes to Kazuki. Acer is only 8 points difference between third and fourth. So as long as he's 8 places in front of Zemendes, he should be fine. Zemendes and 767. But we'll see how that goes. 20 seconds to go. Hard to say you aren't the secret DJ now, Oscar. Guess I did have some drums here, some drum skills.
Some aggressive sailing from Chico before the start line. Sorry, it was Mendes who was penalizing some other players. And let's see who will run the mark in the first spot.
Well, that's a perfect start for Zemendes taking first place. He's going to need it. Again, he is currently fourth, so just outside of the top 3 qualifying for the semifinal. 8 points behind Acer. And he needs to keep Acer 8 points behind him, and that's currently the case with Acer being 16th. Alberto, what have you done?
Not the greatest of endings for Acer tonight here. Zemendes doing a great job. He did the most difficult part, getting a good start in the split. Now all he has to do to attack at the right moment in the right place and just control the fleet, because you have boundaries here and the other players are quite limited. They don't have flexibility, so they'll have to follow the leader.
And well, Shiko is in a good position. Shiko, where's Shiko?
Let's see, where is
Chico
Chico?
is currently
Chico is
14th in the overall ranking at 101 points.
so this third spot can get him in the top 10. Let's do the math. Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, you're saying Zemenda's first, Acer currently 9th, so that's exactly 8 points difference. Then it's going to be a tiebreak. Unfortunately, if we do the tiebreak, Zemenda's arrived first. Acer did not win a race yet. But in the meantime, Zemendas is continuing on a perfect race. Nozet is taking second place. Nozet is currently 7th with 84 points. Let's see if I can get my game plus screen plus a score screen ready. We can have a quick look.
Yeah, in these last races, it's the excitement and also all about mathematics and the calculations.
There you have it on the side. It's going to be this last downwind, upwind, then a downwind, then the reaching leg for the finish.
The one we are seeing is live results with the actual results of these players, or no, this is what we have, and we might do the calculations on them. So Japan 985 also doing a good job, and he's 16th.
Yep. Take a look at the scoreboard on the side, because I'll be hiding it when we reach that last downwind for the reaching finish. Do not have any spoilers. But Zemendas kept that first place throughout the race. Good for him. Chico is
he
still
did
in
a
Stipe is
great
in
job with the start.
We talked as well about 767, who's tied with Zemendas, currently in 6th. And this is going to be a very tight finish. Zemendas over there, you see him crossing the finish line first, followed by Nozet, followed by Japan 985.
We got some penalties at the back.
Takes a penalty from didn't see who gave him the penalty, but that allows Chico, Navi,
some battles
in front.
going
Green9
on.
also take the penalty. Acer jumps up to 7th.
Now he's coming from below Chico, and I think he's faster.
And Acer is not going to be able to overtake Stipe Coach at that very end. Let's watch at the back of the screen.
Wow, it was some really close finish.
Donnie in 16 and Guti in 17. Confirmation of the score on your screen. First for Zemendas, second for Nozet, third for Japan 985, fourth for Navi, fifth for Chico, 6 for Stipe Coach, 7 for Acer, 8 for Ozul, 9 for Green9. 9 for Green9, that sounds nice. Stefan Gazan in 10, Bart in 11, 12 for Carlos Barrejo, Kazuki in 13th, Krug in 14th, and Yannick in 15th, 16th for Maradoni, and 17th for Aguti. We're going to tally up the scores, have the confirmation of the top 3 qualifying for the semifinals. 6 to 10 will qualify for the playoffs. Again, if you are already qualified for the playoffs, then the spot will go to the next in line. So if, for example, Stefan Gazan was 10th and he's already qualified for the playoffs, then the place would go to Bart. Drum roll or Barumcha. And switch.
You're getting used to this.
And there we have it. So no changes, I believe, in the top three. Stipe Coach, Kazuki, Acer are the ones who are going to qualify for the semi-final. Congratulations to them. Fortunately for Zemendes, that's just 2 points short. But he'll go to the playoffs with 767 in fifth at 72 points. Nozet, Bart, Mardani, Tomjanek, and Carlos are also qualified for the playoffs. Again, this is from this ranking only. We will then have to see if some of these players were already qualified to the playoffs or not. If that were the case, then their spot will go to the next in line.
It's quite a shame for Zemendes because he did 1-1 in the last two races, and in the last three races 5-1-1, which are really got some great scores.
He finished very, very strong. That's actually going to be great for the future because we only have two qualifiers left. We got two knockouts left. So if he continues on this pass over here, I'm going to say for sure going to qualify in the next two attempts they have to qualify for that semifinal. This was Oscar, your host, with Omer with me tonight. Thank you for joining me. Quick shout out to the guys working behind the scenes. That was Giovanni for the PRO, so he was the one giving the starts and the instructions to join, and to Hardolo, Black Dog, and Anna Pimpi for the protest committee. Thanks for
again, it was some great racing, and really huge congrats to the sailors moving on, and also, as you said, a big shout out to the team and also the eSailors who gave their everything for the battle this evening. Just getting just better and better, and hope to see you on the next events and next lives.
Exactly. Next, qualifier 5 is going to start very soon on the Virtual Regatta intro, so make sure you connect there and trial it out. Try to get to that knockout over here. It's going to be the top 40 not yet qualified who get a place in that knockout. There's going to be the waiting list as well. But yeah, time for us to conclude it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Congratulations to that top 3, and congratulations to the others qualifying for the playoff. And we'll see you all in the next stream.
Yeah, until next time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.